Hello, welcome to the channel. Today I am going to share an SOP writing guide with you. I am a student of financial planning program and I have seen a lot of my peers face rejections in visa. The reason why they face rejection is because they make some silly mistakes. These mistakes are completely avoidable, and to make a great SOP, you don't need to take help of any agent or any professional writer. Believe me, I have written my SOP on my own and I have got visa approval last month. So you can also do the same and you can avoid any rejection by preventing some silly mistakes. I'm going to share everything, and I have looked through all YouTube videos regarding SOP writing, and I have compiled a list of all the important things that you need to do to get an approval on your visa. So I am going to share this SOP writing guide with you, and it is basically structured as a bare bones framework. So anyone, no matter what is the background, can use this framework to write an effective SOP. And additionally, for the students of financial planning program, I am going to reveal my SOP to you, and I will discuss each and every paragraph in detail and what is its function and how it helped me to get a approval on my visa. So please stay tuned and watch the entire video. Please don't miss anything out, because after watching this video you won't need to watch any other video on YouTube, because I have already done the work for you and I already mentioned all the relevant points in this video. And once you are done with this video, I can guarantee that you will get an approval if you implement all these things correctly and spend some time writing your own SOP. Please don't trust any agent or freelancer to write your own SOP. You are the only one who can write the best SOP because you care about your future, no one else. So please stay tuned and watch the entire video in detail, and good luck. Before diving into the SOP guide, I would like to tell you the structure of this guide. This will be made of two videos. First is this video that you are watching right now, and the second video will be a deep dive analysis of my own SOP for the financial planning program. This first video that you are watching will be of two parts. First would be this presentation, in which I have compiled some of the common mistakes that visa applicants make. Second would be revealing the framework that I have created. Basically, it's a template that you can use to have a great SOP ready within a day. That framework is not only applicable to students who are applying for finance related programs, but for any program in general in Canada. That will get you a nice SOP started within a day, and then you can tweak it as per your requirements if you are interested in that. So let's not waste time and get into this presentation. So first, first mistake that people make is that their SOP is generally written by their agent or a so-called expert. So I would recommend against this. I have written my own SOP and I did not take help of anyone because I was confident that I am the only person who can do it the best way, because no one else cares about you. They only care about money, not about you. You care about your future, so you should write your own SOP. Unless you have a weird case that you are doing masters, you have already done masters and now you are doing PG diploma, which is a downgrade, or you are older with like 6 7 years of work experience and you are not going for masters, you're going for PG diploma. You have to justify these things. Or if if you are changing streams, then you need to justify that. So if you have some special case, like you are already married, you already have kids, then you are applying for PG diploma, which is usually for young professionals, then you might need help of an expert. But if you are just a regular student, like you have completed a graduation in field of tech or finance, and now you are moving into another specialized program in that same field, then you don't need help of any expert. If you have a couple of years or 3 years of work experience, it should not be any issue. So you don't need a help of an expert. I had 2 years of experience and my visa was approved. So that is not being too old. Next point is, don't let your agents write your SOP. And if your IELTS score is too low, let's say like it's 6, and your IELTS and the SOP appears to be written by someone who is IELTS 9, then the visa officer might get suspicious and reject that SOP. Your IELTS writing score and your visa SOP sophistication should be of equal level. Your SOP should have a structure like introduction, why Canada, why college, what the program conclusion, future ambitions, which are specific to your homeland. And another important point is the introduction paragraph. It should be written in such a way that the visa officer doesn't need to read the entire SOP. He should just be happy to read the introduction paragraph and grant you the visa. That's how good the introduction paragraph should be. He should get the idea of the entire SOP just by reading the introduction paragraph itself. So I will help you write that kind of introduction when I am doing the deep dive analysis of my SOP. Be sure to watch that video on my channel and like and subscribe the channel for more videos. Not implying that your career is in India. A lot of people make this mistake, and it's generally said that you have to convince the visa officer that you are going to go back to your country, that is India, or any other country that you have come from. But a lot of people, to convince that, what they do is that they attach a CA report or property valuations, or saying that they have business, they have family to take care of in India. These reasons are not sufficient because your family can immigrate to Canada, you can sell off your assets and business in India and go to Canada. So these reasons are not enough. You have to convince the visa officer that your future is in Canada, in the sense is in India or your homeland, in a sense that your career is there. You are not dependent on Canadian job market. That's what's important because they don't want Canadians to lose their job for your sake. That's why you have to make sure that you have to say that or imply heavily that your career is in India. I have done that in my SOP and I have highlighted that in the deep dive video where I listed the name of companies who are hiring. I know the job market, so that's the impression that the visa officer should get after he reads your SOP. Another important thing to do is to mention job statistics. Like I mentioned that there are so many jobs open. There are these companies who are hiring, or you can, if you are going to start a business, like if you are an entrepreneurial course, then you have to start a business in India. Then describe what kind of business are you going to start. Let's say if you are going to start a financial consultancy, show that India's HNI population is rising so much, there's so much demand in this and that. That way you will be able to convince the visa officer. You can't just say that I'm going to get a job in India. Don't make any general statements like after completing this course, so many doors of opportunities will open in India for me. None of that. Like this is such a cliche statement that visa officer is just going to, I mean, your impression is just going to fall in front of him if you are just using these cliched statements. Absence of a narrative. What is a narrative? Narrative is basically a story. In my case, the story was basically that I have come from a finance background. I want to get into this finance program. I want to start a financial consultancy firm in India. This was my narrative, and this was the main story. And every paragraph in my SOP was trying to reaffirm this narrative. So narrative is basically something that connects your past academics and professional background to the program that you are applying, which finally connects to your future, which has to be in your homeland. If you have done a stream change, let's say you are into commerce and now you want to get into tech, so you need to justify that by having some kind of work experience. Like if you got any work experience in India and working in tech, or even some allied field in tech, like say data analytics probably, then you can use that to justify your application for uh, an IT diploma. Next, you can use certifications to justify your curiosity. If you say that I want to apply for finance course, if you are saying that I am interested in financial planning, or you are saying I am interested in accounting or business development or a business management program, then do the appropriate certifications for that course from Coursera, Udemy, or anywhere to justify your curiosity. That will show your motivation towards that course. If you have any blogs, YouTube channels you have made on that relevant topic, you can include that as well. That will help develop the narrative of your SOP. Style choices. So many people you either use excessively styled SOPs with weird fonts and graphics, or they use completely bland SOPs that appear to be like written on Microsoft Notepad or something. So you have to hit the middle ground here. In my SOP, you can see in the another video, the deep dive analysis video, how I have styled my SOP. But basic characteristics are like it has to be 3 pages. Use the basic formatting or design tools in Word. Use bold and italic to highlight, justify the text. Have serif fonts with 10 or 11 size, which should be easily readable. Don't write it like a letter. Like some people tend to write dear or respected sir or madam, visa officer, High Commission of Canada, Ottawa. That is not needed, and it has to be written like a essay, not a, written like a letter. If you want to put some statistics, like I wanted to put a chart in the SOP, but my agent advised against it. So what I did is I put a link to that statistics, and it was linked to an Economic Times article. So that was good enough as well. You don't need to write a lot of bullet points and numbers. So your SOP should be written like paragraph wise, like you see in newspaper articles that there are paragraphs, not bullet points. If you have a lot of bullet points and numbers, then it doesn't look like a SOP anymore. You just basically have to have headings or paragraphs. So a heading would be like introduction. There will be 3 paragraphs inside that. Even in the 3 paragraphs, first would be an introductory paragraph, second would be a main body, and last would be concludatory paragraph, like we have learned in the IELTS writing classes. So you have to implement those IELTS writing lessons here. That will improve. That will put a good impression of your applicant as an applicant in front of the visa officer, providing evidence. So what if you are making any extraordinary claims in your SOP, you have to provide some kind of evidence for that. Like, let's say if you say that my parents have the fees, parents have enough funds to cover my fees, second year fees and expenses, then you can attach some FD receipts like I attached. But you don't need to attach any property valuations or CA report or income tax return, because even in my case FD receipts will be enough. If you are going for a SDS program, actually you don't need to attach any financials technically, but to be on the safer side, a lot of people tend to attach some kind of financial proof. So you can attach certificates of balance and other stuff. If you are making a claim regarding work experience, so I think from the visa officer's standpoint, yeah, visa officer knows that majority of India's population is unemployed. So if you are claiming any work experience, then he might suspect that it is fake or our documents are doctored, or you are making a fake claim. So we have to provide documents, work experience documents, and other things in your visa application as an attachment. Like attach your resume, certificates, if you have any certificate of merit, etc. Attach an updated CV. There are some reasons why you might face rejections. These are common reasons: not demonstrating that you are going back to India, the not mentioning the IELTS score. If the visa officer is not convinced that you are good enough at English to be able to survive in Canada, then you might face rejection. If you have insufficient funds, if you have low graduation score, you can justify that by saying that I was preparing for chartered accountancy course, that's why it is low. So you have to justify any of these issues. If you have a stream change, you have to justify that with work experience and courses. If you are pursuing PG diploma in 30s, then you have to justify why you are doing that, how is it going to benefit, and why it was the last option for you. You have to do that. You have to justify. If you have already have a master's and you are not, and you are downgrading to PG diploma, you have to justify that explicitly. You have to display or imply that you have very well researched your career options in India, and you have basically have clear mindset. It should not look like you are just going to Canada just because your friend is going to Canada. You need to have a clear mindset. You can, after reading my SOP in the next video of my deep dive analysis, you can uh, get a good idea that the way I have written SOP, it puts an impression in front of visa officer that I have really thought this decision through. I know what I'm doing. This is the impression that visa officer should get, the impression of a confident candidate. Some pro tips from my side: implement IELTS writing techniques. one point per paragraph. There should be an introduction, conclusion, connecting words. If you look at my SOP, I have used the words like additionally, however. There has to be a flow of idea structure. You can't just keep changing ideas. Like if you read my SOP from top to bottom, there is a flow of ideas. There is a clear progression from past to the future, from my current self to my future self, to my current situation to my ambitions. That way, there has to be flow of ideas. It should be a very polished SOP, and you can do that if you have read the IELTS writing guide, which is given by IDP, IELTS IDP. Check grammar using Grammarly. A lot of Indians have issues with grammar, so use the Grammarly plugin in your browser. It works with Google Docs. Use field specific vocabulary. In my deep dive video, you can see that I have used bunch of finance words mainly related to portfolio management. That kind of puts an impression that this guy is an hobbyist or this guy is enthusiast in finance or something. That is very important. Officer won't need to look at your full SOP if he doesn't find it interesting. That's why I made the introduction paragraph such that he doesn't need to look at everything. In terms of financials, FD receipts you can attach. Don't brag about yourself. So a lot of people have the habit of saying extravagant things in their SOP. They are like putting quotes. They are writing weird kind of poems. They are glorifying themselves. Don't do that. Humbly list your achievement. No one likes people who brag. Avoid saying things like Canada has a liberal immigration policy that shows that you are an immigrant. That's a bad thing. Don't say that India's climate is good because that basically says that Canada's climate is bad. So don't say bad things about Canada. Try to be coherent and have a believable and logical story. So let's look at the framework that I have created. You can use this tech framework to create any kind of SOP and then tweak it as per your requirements. So this introduction paragraph should contain everything that is inside the SOP, basically a brief introduction, brief summary of the SOP itself, such that after reading this, the visa officer should have a clear idea about your candidature and is happy enough that he's going to grant you the visa. So that's why it mentions everything: my ambition, professional background, and the fact that I have fulfilled the SDS criteria. So after reading this last paragraph, you will be happy enough to grant you the visa. Next is the academic background. Connect the academic background with your program. So like where did you graduate? What was the score? Uh, Diploma relevant subjects? What sparked your interest? In work experience, you have to add the same things. You have to connect your professional background with your program and how the kind of work or job duties that you had. How did that pursue you? That inspire you to pursue this program that you have to mention. In why Canada, you can say that the Canada is affordable. In India, that course is not available. India is in Canada, it's an English-speaking country. It will help develop my English skills. There is no racism, all of that. In terms of college, then you can say that faculty is great. That it is affordable compared to other colleges. You have to strike some comparison between other colleges and this college. Next, in my case, my course is related to financial planning, so this is going to be specific to my course, but you can use this general ideas to help writing this paragraph for your SOP as well. First of all, give a brief introduction. You may not, since you may not be in this field. Let's say if you are into basic like if you are into software testing and not into full stack web development, or maybe you are into full stack development and you are not into AI or any kind of advanced course that you have taken, then admit that you are not in that industry, but you have the technical skills or some kind of skills you have built in your previous industry that are going to be relevant in the program that you are pursuing or the field you want to join in the future. Mention that you are a key learner and all of that. Address the concern of visa officer about change of stream. So you have to uh, justify the stream change by showing that you have enough passion and hobbies. Like if you have a blog or a YouTube channel about the relevant subject. Let's say like I have a YouTube channel on finance, then I can include that. If you have a YouTube channel on tech or coding, you can include that in your IT SOP. So you have to justify that using work experience, certificates, and hobbies. future ambitions. So this is the most important paragraph. Here you have to convince that you return to India. Your family ties and culture, that doesn't matter. What matters in visa officer size that your economic future, you are not dependent on Canadian job market. You are dependent on India. You have done your research. You can make general statements like you can help the society or family by doing this program. I have explained that in the deep dive video. You can see that you have to gain the knowledge and practical experience to get into this field. In terms of employment, you can say that these are the companies that are hiring. These are the new jobs that are being created. Basically, you have to put an impression that you will be able to find a job in India after you gain skills in Canada. Outcome has to be specific. Don't give a generalized answer like a lot of doors of employment or opportunities are going to open for me when I complete this course. Don't use these cliched statements. You will get a flat out rejection if you look stupid in front of him. You have to show that you have done your research by quoting the statistics, names of the firms hiring, etc. This will put a good impression. Then you have to, if you're going to start a business in India, then you have to convince the visa officer that you know how to build a top line, how to make profits, what are the risks involved. You have to basically pitch your business to the visa officer that you know everything, you know what you're doing in your life when you're starting a business. So let's say you can say, I will start a financial advisory firm in India. There is a lot of untapped growth potential. There is a lot of headroom for growth in this sector. You can include these words, this kind of lingo, if you are into a business, if you are an entrepreneur. And lastly, the conclusion. In conclusion, you have to say that you have to put an impression that you are confident, that you are making the right choice, you know what you are doing. Mention again, regurgitate the fact that you have fulfilled the criteria for STS visa, and give a basic statement like I understand the responsibilities of a student visa, and I will abide by all the rules and uh, regulations of the government and as well as the institute, and say thank you for taking time to read through this. So this is going to be the end of the framework. Now in the next video we are going to look at my SOP, and I'm going to explain every single paragraph and its function and how it helps to build the narrative and how I got my visa approval through that SOP. So stay tuned for that video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I hope to see you in that video. Thank you.